Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope on this 18th day of June. Got the Mad New Yorker backstage. The New York Knicks celebrate their championship today in the Big Apple there with the parade. And I asked the Mad New Yorker his thoughts on that championship. Where would a guy like Jalen Brunson rank in the as far as the all-time Knicks and perhaps all-time New York players? Also, can this team repeat, folks? We'll talk about that. Brandon Sorsby decided to go with all the hassle, end up declaring for the NFL supplemental draft. And Joe Burrow said this is his most talented team since the LSU Tigers. We'll talk about that. Of course, World Cup update, give you my thoughts. Ask the New Yorker, Matt New Yorker, what his thoughts are as well. Stand by. We'll take our first and only break. We'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty, then we're back here live on All In. And also, second round of applause for the New York Knicks winning the championship. You know something? All the way up till Saturday, late Saturday night, watching that game, in the back of my mind, let me ask you this too, but in the back of my mind, I thought there's still a chance they can blow this game. Not only blow this game, there's still a chance they can blow this series. Were you having those thoughts Saturday night? Not just about the game, but the whole series, Mad New Yorker.
Yeah, so my prediction was 4-2 for the Spurs to win it all.
Yeah, okay.
So the number of games I was kind of in an area. Now, this has probably been one of the worst predictions I made.
Okay.
But I was using as much as being real and common sense as possible.
Yep.
Not to say that I didn't want the Knicks to win. It was just the way that it played out, right?
Yeah.
I kept saying, how does the team fall 10 plus behind and still come back up to win games? You can't win that way. And I was wrong.
Right. I mean, they had 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They were still down 10 points.
I was like, this is my worst nightmare. This is what I said would happen. And then it didn't happen. And I'm like, I need to start making predictions like this for the Jets and the Giants then.
Oh, yeah. That is funny, man. So you're saying you did have there's doubts even as you're going into the fourth quarter, even as, the game gets closer. Are you still having thoughts that this series still in doubt for the Knicks, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was, when I looked at this team, I felt like they did enough for themselves to win the tournament game that they won. And I was like, that's good. I mean, they fired Thibodeau. They got a new coach, and they figured out how to win a playoff type of game and a series, and they won that cup. But then I was like, then thinking the playoffs, they kept doing the same thing. They kept going down by 10, like missing threes, and I'm like, oh, they're not gonna, this is not a team. But they just kept finding a way to get back into the game and go and make those 2 or 3 points extra, or get those 2 fouls that they need, get the foul shots and win games. And I was like, I didn't think it was a winning formula that could work, but it for them it worked. Kudos to them for just being persevering and not quitting. And you're not going to see a team like this again. Like not that would go down 10 to 20 points and come back up and still win games. I just don't think that's the winning formula, and that's something that many teams can do, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Did you see any of the parade? I know it was so hard to get in there, right?
So I was in my head, and I told my wife, I was like, I'm thinking about maybe going to parade, but then, I'm an older person. I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with shenanigans of people, and and what can happen. And so I'm turning on, like I'm watching the parade, and I turn to the news, to see what's going on, to see what else, if they have anything on the parade. And they said there was like almost 2,500 people that got sectioned off because they was no room for them to be at the parade. And I'm just
max capacity.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, and then this lady's like, we can't be having this. A cop lady was like, we can't be having this. You see, I told him this was going to happen. And I was like, I think everybody in New York knew that if you wasn't going to get there early, you wasn't going to be in it to see it. So, I decided not to go. I'm a little bit older. I didn't want to get hit in the side of my face with an elbow or somebody falling on me because it was on some kind of catwalk or some kind of like, they had the construction covers, like, and people were like, they were all over the place, man. And it was, I feel like there was so many people out to this parade that even the rats stayed in. They was just like, forget it. We're not going to find room to get any food. So, I didn't. I saw a parade on the TV screen, safe and sound, and I was feeling myself like, I was excited and happy for them, and and it's just that was, I feel like, the best way for me for where I'm at in my my age and my fandom and all that to be acceptable.
It was a lot of fun, but energy draining. When I was 18. Even though the Titans lost the Super Bowl, I did go to the parade here. Technically, I cut class to go midway through, and some friends of mine from high school. But I went to the parade for the Titans back in January of might have been early February of 2000. Yeah, February 2000. Cold day. And our parade was bigger than the Rams, who won the Super Bowl. So I was really happy for the Knicks. I saw some of the clips. I know some people got out of line. It's a lot of people. It's expected. But I heard Alicia Keys. She did a great live version of New York. I think that's New York State of Mind. I think that's the name, the lyric to that. It was good. I heard the mayor. I heard the owner, James Dolan. Good speech there. Brunson. There's all these fat guys like a Brunson lookalike. I don't know if you've seen that online. It's really funny with those braids. And one kid actually had the Brunson haircut and was talking to Brunson on FaceTime. I want everybody to celebrate this. I mean, 50-something years, man. You go back to the 90s. I started following the Knicks in 1992. And, I was a big Jordan fan and everything. But I just saw how they played their guts out against the Bulls. And, they just kept coming up short, man. They, ironically, they pushed that Bulls team, if you remember, to 7 games in the finals. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls went on to win, I think, in 5 or 6 against Portland. In other words, they gave the finals was really that Bulls-Knicks championship. And, of course, we know Jordan retired a few years later, and they come up short against Houston. And there's been a lot of talk about who the greatest Knick is and everything. But let me ask you this. Do you think this team is capable of repeating? I know guys like Mitchell Robertson's up for free agency, and, of course, Shamet, who is a sharpshooter. But, I was looking at some of the age of these guys. I mean, 29, 30, they could still do it. What do you think about a possibility of a repeat? Not to really try to move too far, look too far ahead of this championship. What's your thoughts on that? I'm sure people are talking about it.
Yeah, and there's opportunity for this team to get even better if they pick up a few players who are younger as well, So I have confidence that they'll be back in the mix of things in the playoffs. I have to see what this um, new new free agency and new basketball year is going to bring and be available to the Knicks. As far as they really don't have too many pieces that they need to add, but if they're going to lose pieces, then that's what's going to determine what players are going to be available for them to seek and get. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm a proponent of just trying to keep the team as young as possible.
Yeah.
Bringing in older players just slows down the game, and you can't slow it down any more than it should for the style that some of these players play.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm if they lose Shamit, then the percentage of field goals goes down for 3 points made, unless they switch and get a guy who's consistent shooting threes at least 60%. If they lose Mitchell Robinson, what other big guy can they get to get his 3.5 rebounds a game? And if they get a guy, is he going to just play defense, or is he going to be terrible at the line as well? Like Mitchell Robinson was not very good at the line, so they took you saw the Spurs try to hack at him some of these games to put him on the line. And then I think also Deuce might be up for renew on his contract.
Okay.
So you're talking about three key components of what we call their depth, their pieces, but then it's not always easy to replace. Just because you replace them don't mean that the team will be the same. So
yeah,
that's
one. I think we've had 8 different winners now, 8 years in a row. So right. Recent history is not on the side of the Knicks. The Spurs will be back. Don't you think the Spurs, as young as they are, I wouldn't be surprised the Spurs didn't win it next year, right?
Yeah, now look, that division that conference is going to be different too. You have Dallas with this kid. Everybody's hoping that he's going to be good.
Flag, yeah, that might be a few years though.
Nobody knows yet who they're going to surround him with to make that team better and try to be competitive. And then, they got that whole division. The Western side is going to be different. Golden State's going to be different, right? So, So is Sacramento.
Sacramento. Well, they're rebuilding.
Yeah, and then you got Portland still, and you got that whole West is going to be Denver. I don't know. Is Denver going to blow that team up? Of course. Are they going to blow that team up, or are they going to strengthen, make it stronger?
I don't know. Those questions will be answered here shortly. The draft will be next week.
Right.
That'll be one of the topics I'm sure we'll get into next Thursday. I think the draft's Tuesday. So, or maybe, I think the draft may be a week from tonight. Hold on, let me double check. I know it's next week. So it's never a dull moment, right? In the sports world, man. But the draft will be next week. It ain't came up yet, but that's a lot of this stuff's going to happen. Giannis will get moved. There'll be draft picks moved. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because there's going to be draft picks moved for a guy like Giannis. I'm sure Giannis is going to be moved. I'm almost guarantee it. It'll be Tuesday. Yes. So we'll definitely be able to get be able to establish a show talking about this draft, which is supposed to be the best. Some have said in 30 years, most talented draft in 30 years. So that's interesting. And I was looking at some of the ages of the players. The core guys here are, Brunson will be 30. Towns will be 31, still in their prime. OG Anunoby, 29. Josh Hart, 31. Bridges, 31. So they're still in their prime ages where they're still have the athletic ability, and we already know they got the smarts there. I wouldn't be surprised. At least they get back to the finals. It would be really special if they can go back to back, man. and they don't
Yeah.
look like a flash in the pan, which I don't think they were flashing.
Right. No, and the fans, forget it. The fans are behind them no matter what happens.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So
this one will never be forgotten. There'll be documentaries. Ben Stiller's involved in a documentary, folks.
Yeah.
I read that. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, and also not just that, but Spike Lee worked on something.
Spike Lee's going to do something.
And then they're talking about some of these guys who supported the team rings, for supporting the team. I'm like, whatever they want, they can have it at that when they're at that point, But regular fans, fans like us, we just gotta appreciate the moment, and we get our tees, we get our hats, and then
I'm glad to see them get over the hump, man. 50.
Yeah, it was just strange because they literally put themselves behind the 8 ball to climb their way back up and get over the hump. It's incredible. It was incredible watching this team and the teams that they played, and definitely a good season for sure.
Yeah, 3 losses in the playoff, and something I want to say they're the first team to win the cup and the championship in the same year. Now I think that cup has been 3 or 4 years old. It's a new, but still, they were the unanimous heavyweight champions of the 2025-2026 seasons. No team has ever that started off as a 3 seed or lower had a better record in the playoffs than this New York Knicks team. That Rockets team was a 5 seed in '94, won the championship. They had like 5 or 6 losses in the playoff that year. So this is one of the best teams in playoff history. Now, there's other teams that had 1 and 2 losses. The Lakers in 2000, the Warriors. I want to say the Bulls, but this was still a very good team, especially for a 3 seed per se. One of the better playoff runs ever.
Yeah, and as much of a fan, and I appreciate this, I'm not going to look away from this was a hard fought series.
Yes.
All the games were close. It's not that the Knicks
airtight games, 1 tip in, one game.
It's just like I said, it's been an incredible season. It was nice to watch. It was very competitive, and to hear a Knicks fan be like, "Yeah, we got blah, like, bro, you need to calm down. Like, you got we almost lost 2 games. Like, I don't know what games you were watching, but we wasn't blowing nobody out. We was, we saw
the Cavs had you beat in that game 1. I mean, hey, but you know what? You got to play to the end. You got to play to the whistle.
Yeah, you got to play. But it's like it's almost like when people try to forget the fact that the Pacers had the Bulls number in 2 games.
Yeah,
the Bulls, they only had lost those 2 games one by a foul shot and the other one by a 3-point. And to say that the Bulls wrecked the Pacers is a terrible.
What year are you talking about?
That playoff team was 94, 93,
okay.
Something like that. It wasn't like then the Bulls went and won 2 games in a row and then finished the series. That's different, but
the ones in '98 were airtight with Smits when he was leading. Of course, obviously Reggie Miller.
Yeah,
Jordan was getting older, and that was Jordan guaranteed. He said, "Listen, I don't make guarantees. I don't make guarantees. My wife, I guarantee they ain't gonna win Game 7. I guarantee that." And of course, they didn't. I remember the quote. I remember the press conference, man.
But
this team was put together with this Leon Rose, who's a former agent, kind of like Rob Pelinka with the Lakers, who's had some success. Kudos to him through trades and, of course, free agency. The greatest free agent, Jalen Brunson. You look at guys like him, guys like Sam Presti. My take on Monday morning was, listen, this is a general manager. This is like 80% general manager, 20% coaching. Not to take away anything Mike Brown done. He was the last little piece of the pie there. He was the last little cherry on top that put him over the top with his adjustments there. But how much do you think this is a personnel league versus a coaches league? Now, I think it's really swayed in favor of personnel and general manager roster construction.
Yeah, and I think the pendulum swung when the opportunity was available to uh, Rose to bring the Villanova kids together,
Yes.
um, and him having already a relationship with Brunson, and knowing that having a player that he could trust be on the team was available, but then another player was available through a trade. I think he did that. I think that was a smart move.
Yeah.
One that I didn't like because I feel like these guys, even though they play together in college, that was college. You're in the NBA now.
Right. A lot of times that don't work. Most of the time that don't work. Yeah.
Right. And so it just takes me saying that was the worst move that he could make, and it ended up working. But it took time for that to work.
Yeah.
It wasn't that these three guys, Hart and Bridges, were on the team last year, and it wasn't like it was everything was working. I feel the best move, and the one that I think worked in his favor was moving away from the guy from Kentucky. What's his name?
Knox.
No, the other guy.
I can't remember now. Yeah,
with the R.
I don't know why I want to call
Randall. Moving off from Randall.
R.J. Barrett or Randall? Oh, Randall. Yeah.
Yeah, I
thought
Barrett
that was went to Kentucky. Remember, I thought that Barrett was a bad move at the time, but
yeah, I wasn't liking the Barrett move, but I understood it.
Yeah.
But the Randall move was better. I was kind of like half in with that one because I'm like, well, he's no longer on the team, and they got a guy who's a little bit older in Towns. It was kind of like
it was kind of a questionable move.
Right.
It was one I thought that could backfire at the time. Now that you mentioned Randall, that's a good call. I'm sure Randall's kicking himself like, dang, man.
Right. I mean, well, the cat move ended up working. The best thing that they did for him was threaten to trade him after last season. He was in trade talks for 3 or 4 types of moves. Money being a reason why they couldn't move him. But he ended up staying, and he wanted to stay, which was something that you hear and everything that all the time that he spoke was that I'm from New York, I want to win here. And I felt bad because some people like me and other people were saying, yo, it's time to it didn't work last year, let's move on from him. Right. They're already ready to cut ties because he's he's one of the eldest players.
Yeah.
So and it ended up working out for him, and he was challenged, and he rose to the challenge. And look, this team had suffered through injuries, suffered through some of these trade talks that some of these players thought they was going to leave. They brought in guys like Alvarado, who had championship experience with the prior team that he was on. They brought in they still have 4 young guys on the bench that have gained experience this year due to injuries, but they didn't end up playing in the final series. Until like maybe 3 of those guys did play, but the 4th guy didn't get too much time. So it was an opportunity. Like there's a lot of opportunity for everybody, and everybody made well on the opportunity available, and that's what made this team strong. Yeah. Right. So it so happened that they were led by one of the guys who nobody thought would be able to carry a team, and he's MVP. He's
been there for 4 years. Where would you rank Jalen Brunson in the all-time Knick list? I know people have their own list. It's just people's opinion.
Right.
But I think he's up there now, man.
Yeah, he's
championship first in 53 years, right?
Yeah, he's probably 3 or 4. Like, Willis Reed had 2-time MVP final championship.
Yeah. I was looking at those guys.
I wasn't around for that. Then you have Clyde.
Clyde Frazier and him both have 2 rings.
Right. And you have Clyde. But I think, Bernard didn't bring a championship, and Ewing didn't bring a championship. So because he's an MVP winning championship player, he's right under those 2 guys, right? Like
I'm right there with you. That was the information I got. So Google AI said he's 7th and they got Ewing as number one. Rick Brunson, his dad, says Ewing's number one. I was like, listen, man, I saw the Fring of Roll miss. I love Patrick Ewing. I've been following Patrick Ewing since his early years in like this is 92.
Yeah, no.
But I just can't. I got to put Brunson above Ewing, man.
Right. We're not taking. This is again a new era of basketball. We can't take away from what some of these guys did in years prior to what where the NBA is now. I mean, I feel like one of the people that I think is underrated is Pete Maravich. Yeah. I feel like he should be.
Nick? I'm just saying.
No. But I'm saying like in history.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And his number has fallen so many places in different lists for people, and I'm like, yo, Pistol Pete, like. This guy was making 3-pointers before there was a 3-point line. It's like
he was scoring a lot of points before there was even an extra point there.
Yeah, and so like even to mention that people in the past, look, they have earned what they earn, but this is you have to kind of move with the times, and I gotta as much as I love some of these Knicks, like Bernard King and Pat Ewing, those again the championships. They tend to matter, and it's not just a championship, but Brunson's an MVP. Like we talked about this last week, he was the MVP, and he
scores 45 in Game 5.
Points. Like
that put him over the top. I was saying maybe he can make an argument for OG.
Yeah. And then I said, what if he does that? What if he puts the team on his back? Then he's the MVP, and he ended up doing it. That's maybe a call that I made that wasn't, it was last week before the game. And I was like, you can't just be, we can't put blinders on him what's happening, and he did through the whole season, man. He came back hurt, even though he had an injury for a couple of weeks, he came back hurt and he played hurt. And I think that got a lot of other guys thinking, yo, we gotta step it up because this guy's playing hurt. And, he just put on his shoes and went out there and balled it, and he didn't always have great days.
No,
but when he had great days, there was there was good, and he carried the team.
Level of toughness, and like I said last week, and I was watching some videos. By the way, it's really funny videos on TikTok after they won. I don't know if you remember. There's a scene in what was it called? Coming to America, when the dad. James Earl Jones characters walking through New York, and they're playing this King music in the background, and this woman's throwing flowers at his feet, and they're saying this is Jalen Brunson walking around New York right now.
Look,
I mean, he took $100 million pay cut and made this happen. I mean, this guy did the dividends for that pay cut. It's going to pay off the rest of his life, don't you think so?
Well, now
New York sports world and everything and opportunities.
Right. Well, now he's got the championship, the extra bonus from that.
Yeah.
He's gonna get even more commercials, right? More marketing.
Yes.
Because they're on that commercial for AT&T. When I saw that commercial for AT&T, I don't know if you've seen it for when they during the NCAA.
But I wasn't surprised. Of course not. Yeah.
During the NCAA championship, AT&T had the Knicks on a commercial, and I said to myself, I was like, "Are they pushing this team to be in the finals?" And I told my wife that I was like, "Why the Knicks on a commercial? Like, why are they pushing?" Because I understand they won the cup, but I was like, "That's not enough. This is New York. They're gonna get tore up from the floor up if they don't go into the playoffs at all." And I was like, and you can look it up on AT&T.
No, I will.
They're hiking, and almost everybody's on a team, and then they have older players as well. John Starks is in that commercial, and somebody else is. I think Patrick Ewing's on a commercial with Alvarado about having some chips or something. I was like, I was just thinking to myself, like, is this team gonna be in the finals? Like, are they gonna make it play? If they don't make the playoffs, this commercial is gonna be the why are they on commercials? And they should be focusing on basketball.
That big market.
Yeah,
it still has some pull there. I was looking up him and all-time New York athletes, and he's got a ways to go. I forget about guys like Jeter, Reggie Jackson, Eli Manning, going all the way back to Babe Ruth, of course. he's got a ways to go to catch those guys as far as all of New York City athletes. But you know something, I was looking at that parade. I'm like, they might be the most popular team in New York right now.
Yeah, because
popular as the Yankees are.
Right, and like you have to look at where New York is at now in its history, as far as like, you know, the economy's stench. Like, you know, and these guys are getting paid millions, but they're working hard. They're winning hard, and like
they have a blue collar mentality.
Yes, and that's the city. It's about a grind, and these guys are grinding it out, and they didn't care if they won a crown in the season. It was like, and they kept saying it. Yo, this is New York. We got to win it for New York. The fans are out here, and they kept just feeding into the frenzy. And look, you're not out here, man, and I wish you had an opportunity.
Oh, I tried to get tickets back in 2002, and they had Allen Houston and Marcus Camby, and I still couldn't get tickets.
It's remarkable the amount of people just in the plaza and just like in the Bryant Park whenever they move, you know, because the World Cup is here as well. So there's like crowd control going on. And it was like, I just, as somebody that lives here, I'm like in one of the boroughs, I was like, I can't go to the city right now.
It's too crazy, Manhattan.
Yes. And not, you know, I got, you know, Father's Day is coming up, and I got to be taking care of my kids, and I got to be there. You know, I can't be sitting in some hospital in uptown because I got ran over or something. My crowd,
it's a little much. It's just a little much. The crowds are crazy. They got to move on, man. Some other topics. Congratulations, one more round of it. New York Knicks. I got to bet against New York so we can win. Yeah, brother. You know, I need to bring in Jeffrey Deskovic. I got to bring in John Restano, Mike, Keith Engel's a big Knicks fan, and get their takes. And folks, I will, the closer we get towards the football season, I'm working like a crazy person to put back some money. But I want to get their takes on this Knicks run as well. So that's really awesome. Another big story, man. Listen, Brandon Sorsby, probably a blessing in disguise. I mean, I've watched the video that all of the leadership put out of the Texas A&M staff of what they were doing to try to keep this guy going. But, you know, the Big 12, college football, the NCAA, the Big 12 conferences, there was too much litigation, countersuits. And I'm thinking they're probably, you know, wiping their brows thinking, I'm glad this guy just said, you know what? The dates are piling up on each other. There's a chance I could not miss the supplemental draft and not be able to play college football. And I'm sure they were all relieved about this, you know. But now the question is this supplemental draft. I've got another clip, a short clip I want to play. Todd McShay talking about now they think he might be a second-round pick, but they throw out a team in there. We'll talk about it. Watch this.
Every text I got back last night was second round.
Really? I think it's going to be first round. If you are the Minnesota Vikings, you have Kyler Murray on a one-year deal. J.J. McCarthy doesn't seem to be the long-term answer. You are so well coached and your roster is so strong other than quarterback. You're going to be competitive, right? I don't see them picking early. I don't see them being in a position. As deep as this quarterback class is, I don't see them being in a position to get one of the guys unless they move up, right? So why not? If you're one of those teams that thinks that you're going to be one of the early second-round guys, we might get him. Oh, we got an early second round. We might get him. I'd be terrified that a Minnesota or a Detroit or a Pittsburgh.
That's the one. Pittsburgh has tried so long to find their guy at quarterback. You can't wait until the second round because you got the Jets, you got the Cardinals,
Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, and I never thought about you got Rodgers. Rodgers already told the world, hey, I'm done after this year, okay? You got Mike McCarthy. You look at all the players that he's coached over the years. I didn't know he coached the guys like Aaron Brooks, helped him with his stock there. You got Favre, of course. You've got Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers himself. And then you look at this, Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, and, of course, Drew Aller. Maybe Drew Aller, they lean into him. But Sorsby, I would cut two of those guys to bring in Sorsby. But, you know, I do say this. I'm okay with what he said about that second round grade. I've mentioned this before. These supplemental guys, a lot of them have turned into be bust, okay? They have problems coming in the league. Josh Gordon, Terrell Pryor, they have problems coming in. That the Brian Ballsworth, he was a big 80s phenom linebacker from the Oklahoma back in the day. He come in with all that guy was a bust, man. He got ran over on Monday Night Football by Bo Jackson. You probably saw the documentary, the 30 for 30. I did too. He's a little before our time. We were very young when he came out in the 80s. So that's the risk. I'm not taking him in the first round. What's your thoughts about him going in the first round of the supplemental draft? And a team like they mentioned Minnesota also, but also a team like the Steelers possibly looking at a Brandon Swordsby. What's your thoughts on all that, man?
Yeah, I think the Pittsburgh one probably is interesting, and I'm surprised they haven't mentioned Indianapolis. Because if I'm Indy, I'm riding that way.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
So that division right there.
Daniel Jones and his injury problems. Yeah.
So I would definitely be on the on the lookout for trying to get an opportunity to pick him up. Listen, this is a guy. Then if he has all this hype, whether or not he's a bust or not, that's not going to matter for another 2 or 3 seasons. What matters is in the moment whether he's going to get picked up. If a team is willing to take that waiver on him, that's the biggest thing. And a lot of these teams that we mentioned don't care about what happens. They care what happened in the past. They care about what's going to happen, and so they're going to be in the mix. There will be a team, maybe not even mentioned, that will pick him up. What if Arizona picks him up? I mean,
Arizona would be the number one. They really don't have anybody. You know?
So,
they drafted the guy out of Miami, who's also a little bit of a head case. But they would be one of them possibly.
Yeah, I can see even a team like the Miami Dolphins, taking.
Yeah, even though they did get Malik Willis, that would be interesting. Well, that would really throw a dent and stuff, wouldn't it?
Well,
Carson Beck is who I'm thinking about. Jacoby Brissett's a temporary guy. Gardner Minshew's a career backup. And some guy named Keelan Slowless, which the guy.
And there's one guy there that we haven't mentioned, and there's a guy there that's looking for a new contract in Dallas. You don't think that Jerry Jones would be like, look, we know this kid.
Oh, he's been mentioned. Yeah, Dak.
Yeah, Texas, he can,
Dak is he's making a lot of money and he's getting towards the end there.
Yeah,
possibly. That would be it. Well, that would be. Whew, now I don't think this is going to happen until July, so we've got some time to stew that one over. But still, it's going to be interesting to see where he'll get drafted. Yeah. I just don't know where and what round. I'm thinking probably third, but he could go second, and I would be surprised if he goes first.
Yeah, and here's another thing, Robert. A lot of times we talk about some of these players in the supplemental draft or even in regular draft, and we say, "Oh, that's a second rounder, third rounder." And all of a sudden they get drafted in the first round because they throw out those little things out there for other teams to start worrying about it to try to get you off. Yeah, just to try to get you off the smell of the trekking them. So, if he ends up in Dallas, is anybody going to be surprised?
Not really. Not with Jerry Jones. It's hard to see what he's going to do now.
That's what I'm saying. So
Chris Carter also got drafted in the supplemental draft. He's a Hall of Famer, but he had some problems. Remember, he didn't stay with the Eagles. He had some alcohol problems. That's his words, not mine.
Right.
And then when he went to Minnesota, life turned around, became a Hall of Famer alongside Randy Moss-Steller. So
yeah, I think the two teams for me, the way I've seen the draft, the way it passed, and the way that some of these coaches think, I feel like Indianapolis and Dallas are the two teams that'll be in a hunt to try to get Swordsby. But that's from
Colts would be a good one. I didn't even think about.
That's my take.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, I can't pinpoint a team that's going to say we're going to grab. It's hard to pinpoint a team. You mentioned Green Bay the other day. Why not? I've talked to some Green Bay fans. Not all these guys are in love with love. Okay. and they have a pretty good quarterback coach there and loves making some money. Why not take a chance on the Sorsby? You know, this guy could fit in a lot of places, man. You know, he mentioned Minnesota, 1-year deal. I think Kyler Murray will look good early. I think he'll get hurt. He's going to go back to being Kyler Murray. I think McCarthy can win that job. But Sorsby's probably got more talent than the McCarthy. I think he's probably got a stronger arm from what I look at and read. But we'll see. You know, a lot of times, though, again, these guys that come in supplemental draft with this baggage, if he has one slip up, the NFL will wash their hands with him quickly. You know, they'll suspend him for a year, and then nobody's want to deal with him. They'll bring him in for peanuts, and maybe he'll be a backup somewhere. But they're not going to risk a lot of money and high pick on him. I'll be shocked if he goes first round.
Right.
You Jets who could very well use him. You know, Jets have nobody.
Well, you mentioned McCarthy, and I don't know if this is bad, but and nothing against him, but when I watched him in college and when I watch him in the NFL, he just and again, it's not a bad thing. He reminded me of like a Trent Dilfer or what's this guy's name from the Giants? Jeff Hostetler. Like, it's not that they don't have the skills and they don't have the potential. It's just that it's going to take a team where the coach is going to be like, go out there and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
With what we have, right? It's like it's the problem with a lot of these coaching staffs is they want you to come in and do what they want you to do, and they don't let you be who you are. And I feel like with McCarthy at the Michigan, you know, it was like just he was kind of put in a position to look better than what he could play because he was on a great team. But it doesn't mean that he's not a good quarterback. And then so like.
This is a big year for him. Very, very big year.
And if he ends up being a backup and then starting again, you know, that's okay. He could literally be like the quarterback from the Seattle Seahawks at the Jets.
Darnold.
Like Darnold,
who kind of slipped between the cracks too.
Yeah, he just kind of like, you know, he wasn't in a good system. He just played back up. Eventually, he got an opportunity to play, and he worked his way back up to starting, and his skills are better. He's more confident. I feel like that's what McCarthy's going to be. I was if you see the talks that we had for the draft when he was drafted, all the talks that
he just didn't go that much in college.
You hear me say, I don't think he's a good pick. And he ended up being a first-round pick, and now
he was a major reach.
You know, so I don't know. It's not again
somewhat on the hot seat. If they don't get to the playoffs, and as good a coach, he'll get picked up by anybody. You know, I could see the Vikings firing him and say like a Bengals hiring him. You know,
I mean, you sent me that information about Joe Burrow saying that this team reminds him of LSU.
Yeah. So Burrow's saying. I'm going to read that to you. And what I sent you, this is what Adam said. Joe Burrow said the Bengals remind him of the 2019 National Championship LSU back and forth with watch. I've said before, Burrow told reporters mandatory minicamp. I feel very similar about this team. I'm excited to get started, to get moving. I'll ramp this thing up in training camp so we can continue and improve. But I think there's much greatness to achieve this year. He's saying that in one hand. I take that as we better win or I'm out of here with this talent. And my question to you is, and everybody else is, what is the fact that they already own their second defensive coordinator here? This is his, or not the second, their second year with Al Golden. They are they got Lawrence. What's his name? You got your boy there. Was it Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence there? And so you've got all these new players here. You know, 4 new starters, including Dexter Lawrence, folks, with this team. I mean, they are going to be able to looks like Carlos is paused up. My guess is, and Carlos just fell off. I'm sure he'll come back on. That if they don't get to the Super Bowl this year with 4 new defensive starters, they gave up the 10 pick for Dexter Lawrence. This is going. Zach Taylor will be the fall guy. The ownership, Mike Brown, he'll be the fall guy, and they will fire him. That would be my question to Matt New Yorker, and I hate to get him to come back up here. He fell off, but that's what I'm thinking. Let's see. All right, buddy, you fell off there. So
yeah, man, I'm sorry.
Zach Taylor. I was telling the audience, man, before you kind of froze up there, that I think that Super Bowl appearance or bust, or Zach Taylor is going to be the fall guy, so the owner can get ahead of it, and Burrow won't ask out of Cincinnati with these 4 new starters, including Dexter Lawrence, former Giant, bringing in. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not sure if they're going to get to the Super Bowl, but I think he's thinking we got to get back to the Super Bowl. The owner is, or I'm going to fire Zach Taylor, the head coach there. What's your thoughts about what Burrow's saying, and I think the level of pressure that's on Zach Taylor to win this year?
Yeah, so listen, I think he's been on a hot seat for the last 2 years. And then the injuries to Burrow helped him out a little bit because then he had that excuse
to not get fired.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I don't listen. I've said this and I've been harking on it since he's been in Cincinnati. He could go to a Super Bowl, but he will never win a Super Bowl as a Cincinnati Bengal.
Yeah.
There's just too much. There's much that they're lacking as far as depth to be able to go over the hump. And I don't feel like they got that this year making moves. I don't think Dexter Lawrence helps them that much because Dexter Lawrence was not helpful.
Yeah. Well, they got 3 other starters as well,
right?
Including
and then,
a really good edge rusher from Seattle, but they've also lost a good edge rusher. So I don't know.
Right. So
Ross Henderson from
Henderson, yeah. And so and that was your guy. That was the one that you pitted your Super Bowl dreams on as far as making sure your defense was going to be, legit. And so I'm not saying that they won't be competitive. I'm saying that if Joe Burrow stays on this Cincinnati Bengal team, he will never win a Super Bowl. I feel the same way about Josh Allen and in Buffalo. And I keep saying that. And then people are like, well, they're great quarterbacks. They get great quarterbacks often don't win Super Bowls. We've had that happen. Boomer Esiason,
Kelly didn't win one.
Jim Kelly, and Jim Kelly went to 3 Super Bowls.
Four straight.
Oh, 4 straight. Yeah, 4 straight.
Yeah.
So
that's really a bummer, man. Your Giants beat them by a missed field goal.
Right.
And, so you think Taylor will get? I think he'll probably get fired. I'm leaning maybe the Chargers knock them out to get to the Super Bowl. I haven't broke the season down yet, but I think the Chargers are going to be really good this year in the AFC, and I think this Bengal team is going to be very good. I could see them getting to the AFC Championship game. I think they're going to be very good this year, the Bengals. But like you said, I think they're probably going to lap that.
I feel like most people want to see Mahomes and Burrow duke it out rather than see Burrow and Allen duke it out because it's,
and of course Buffalo will be good, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know roster wise if they've done enough. Although they did that, DJ Moore, but they needed defense. They didn't need. They Moore's going to help. And they got a new coach here, a new coordinator on defense, but I just don't know if that's going to be enough, man. I mean, Jacksonville could get there for all we know. They're getting hungry and they're getting better, and Houston's defense is probably the best out there. And if Stroud could get it right, they could get there at the AFC. It's going to be stacked. Denver added Jalen Waddle, and Bo Nix is back, so. The AFC is pretty good, but the Chargers, they added that interior offensive line. They've got the new offensive coordinator. They got Joe Alt back and Rashawn Slater back.
Yeah,
they seem primed and ready to go.
I'm about to add that kid to the list of never will he ever if he stays on the team, and that's Herbert.
Oh, they've got to win some. They got to get to the playoffs and win playoff games. the Chargers. They got to do it this year. Well, they got the playoffs last year. Excuse me. They got beat by the
great quarterbacks don't always win Super Bowls. That's just the way it is.
You got to have the squad around them. What's your thoughts on this World Cup? This is, folks, I'm telling you this. I'm not saying this because you're here. It's the most soccer I've ever watched. It's very good. It's better than I thought. Do you have teams that stuck out to you in this first round? It's just the first round. Anybody that's really got your attention, or a group of guys, teams, or whatever?
Yeah, there's a lot of players right now that are doing well for their team. I mentioned some of them already. The hookup of Weah and Gio on Gio Reyna on the U.S. team. Those two guys hooking up and
yes. Yeah, he's the guy that got the 2 goals, right?
Yeah, I called that out. Like, so, you know, on the show, I did say that to watch out for those guys. And they end up winning. And I think that the U.S. will, like I said, I don't think they'll go all the way, but I think they'll be in the quarters. And Germany surprised me. I thought that they were going to. They came in a little bit with the older squad. They came in with the older squad, and I was like, and I didn't feel like they had enough speed and depth, and they played good. And then some of these young teams coming out, and the one team that I feel like failed everybody in betting, and a lot of people lost their houses in the world, is probably Spain.
I knew you was going to say Spain. Yeah, they had that tie. I couldn't believe they tied like that.
0-0.
Defensive effort, though, by I forgot who they played.
Copa de Verde, yeah.
Yeah, the Verde was a 0-0 tie. The Verde said, you know what? We'll give up everything. We're just going to put you can't score. Oof. But Spain could score. I thought Spain was going to do better.
And, you know, and I'm not an elitist. I think that the Europeans bring the stronger teams most of the time. Even though like there's teams like Argentina and stuff like that and Brazil, but I don't think
Brazil seems a little overrated this year.
I think Brazil's going to struggle this World Cup, and Argentina's going to be okay. They'll be in the quarters, but I see this being the next few matches are going to be very competitive. Look out, guys! A lot of these teams need to score to make it to the quarters or to get a tie. Mm-hmm. So the one game I thought was very good. It felt like a championship game. Was the Netherlands, which is the team I root for, playing Japan. The Japanese did a very great job sticking to their guns and playing that game to 100%, and they ended up getting a tie. Frustrating if you're a fan of Dutch football, but it's one match. It was a tie, and we'll see where we go for the next 2 games.
Yeah, and Portugal. There's one that really surprised me. Not as good. Congo's much more athletic than I would imagine they would be, but they're pretty good. What did you think? And you mentioned what's his name? Nagape. I guess I'm probably jacking his name up.
Kylian Mbappe from France.
That guy's quick as a cat, man. He might be the best player. I know that Messi had the 3 goals. I don't know how good that competition is there. They look good. Messi look good. But Agape, he's quick as a cat, man. He's 28 years old.
Yeah, so Mbappe, of course, was last year. Last World Cup was, he was the bright budding star, and this year he is a star, and everybody's expecting him to do well. Listen, it's the game is growing. It's becoming more competitive, and I think. Sometimes we as soccer fans, we kind of just don't understand the African Nations Cup, that they qualify these teams to come to the World Cup.
Yeah.
You see a lot of first-time African teams, but you have to understand
Algeria's pretty good.
Yeah, and they beat teams that are great.
Yeah.
In Africa, like they beat Cameroon. These teams beat Nigeria. These 2 teams are not in. And so when people are like, well, where are they from? What are they doing? Like, how
they played their way in. My friends from Ireland are mad because Ireland did not get in this year.
Right. Ireland didn't get in. Italy didn't get in. Now, again, there are European groups that they played in.
Yeah.
For instance, in Italy got beat by Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bosnia is not a bad team. Bosnia has a lot of history from their families from the Czech that was the Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia area that got broken up into different countries. So they have a lot of roots in soccer anyway. They've always had different styles of soccer that those countries played, and so now they're a smaller country, but it doesn't mean that they're just developing, but it doesn't mean that they're soccer. Soccer is something that they've always played. So when they're like, oh well, Italy didn't make it, it's like, yeah, because this team beat them. So and it happens. And these African nation teams who are new this year, they beat the guys with the big guns in Cameroon and Nigeria.
I'm impressed with every one of those African teams.
Yeah, this one is gonna be ultra competitive, ultra fun. You guys keep watching. It's gonna be a longer.
Who do you like in the Australia USA tomorrow?
I think these guys are gonna hit each other hard. They're gonna go in very aggressive, but I do see the US winning this game 2-1.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And I know that what's his name, Pulisic is a little banged up, but he's supposed to play. He's got a contusion, calf contusion. What's his name? Christian Pulisic, calf contusion, trending towards playing. They did beat Australia last year in some kind of other match last October, 2-1. By the way, I picked up some Australian guys. They're already talking trash to me on the way to the airport. I couldn't say nothing back because I didn't know enough about it. Now, hey, listen, if you guys are watching, United States are going to win that game because it's played in Seattle, and I think United States will win tomorrow. And I think, like you said, I think they'll win 2-1. I'll be disappointed if it's a tie.
No, there you go. So I wouldn't bet the over. And listen, the soccer rules, they got a style of playing that
they're good. They went 2-0 to start their first game too.
Yeah, they're very persistent, very, very strong group of guys, very tough. These guys go from playing rugby and Australian footy to going to play soccer. So
no offense, Nigel, by the way.
It's the other way around for them, So they have a culture of playing tough in the sports that they play in, and they bring it on the soccer field. And I appreciate it because I don't have to play them, but I appreciate when I see them, because they force you to play a better game, and then you're going to see it, and it might end up a tie, but I think it's going to be 2-1.
And those guys are so cocky. And when I was taking them the other day, and I thought, wait a minute, is United States underdog? I had to go back and look. No, the United States is actually favored.
Yeah, they're favored.
These guys had me convinced. It's huge, man. Some of I've been picking up a lot of international riders that are going to the games. I dropped off a guy Friday morning, and he was going to the Brazil game in MetLife last week. They tied. Yeah, Brazil's a little disappointing. I know it's still early in the game, but maybe they're living off legacy, I know they've got those titles. But, and again, kudos to Messi. Getting those 3 goals like that was – well, he makes it look easy even at 38, right?
Yeah, they have the team to make him not have to work as hard. They have young guys.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. They
have a lot of young guys.
He's like LeBron.
Yeah. They got the 3 guys in the middle that can feed him the ball, and they can move at like 100 at the speed that they need to move. And he's smart enough to make sure that those guys are fast enough and keep the flow going. And then they have the 4 guys in the back that keep him, to make sure that they don't get no goals back there and help that goalkeeper keep a clean sheet. So they're not a bad team. I just think with Messi being in the mix, if he goes out, they might. It's like the LeBron thing. Did they put too much hoping that he would be on the field and not be able to play if he's not on the field? Right. That's what I feel like Argentina is like the Lakers. If Messi's not playing.
That's a good analogy, man.
Can they focus on the team they have and not worry about Messi?
Yeah, you can see him just chilling when he don't have the ball. He's just kind of walking around like a baseball, and that's smart. He's good. He's thinking with his head,
Well, he uses his speed when he needs to, and he uses his smarts when he needs to, and his passing ability is one of the best in the world, which has kept him where he's at. And he's a vital piece of that team, but he's so vital that I'm not sure if he's missing for any reason. If the Argentines can look forward and move forward without him.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I can't wait to this weekend. Mad New Yorker. Anything else you need to add on? How'd your kids do in the Pokemon tournament?
Yeah, so they're all they both won 2 games out of 7.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so they're internationally ranked, but I'm proud of them for sticking it out. My little one played about 7.5 hours of Pokemon, and my older one, he played about close to almost 9.5 hours of Pokemon. So
that's a lot of Pokemon. Yeah,
so 2 different divisions. It's a big ordeal. If anybody has the opportunity of making it to NAIC, North American International Competition for Pokemon, next year it'll be in Chicago.
Yeah.
So
when is that going to be?
That's usually the June 12th weekend. That's usually the weekend, the second weekend
next year. Okay.
Next year. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mad New Yorker and
Happy Father's Day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Woo! All right, buddy. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. We'll talk the NBA draft. All right, everybody. You all have a good weekend. Enjoy the World Cup. And if you like the show, share the show. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to that YouTube channel at the Real Sports Scope YouTube channel. Have a good night, everybody.